I just wanted to let you know.
Yeah, it's a botched ball. And, wow, I mean, what a throw. Sideline throw, too. They're going to score on this first drive.
I think so. Are we going to regret letting JT go?
No, because Stetson won. So, you know what I mean? What are we talking? Like, do we think that we would have a better chance to run it back with JT? Like,
yeah, that's what I'm asking.
No, and you got to think about it, too. We got all these guys behind them. Even though we didn't get Arch, you're still talking about Gunnar Stockton, Brock Vandegrift. I mean, these guys are literally 5-stars. Like, our Gunnar might have been a 4. I don't remember.
Gunner's a 4.
Gunner's 4, but Brock's a 5. Brock was a 5, and like,
does Gunnar have a? Does he have a Chad Ewers haircut? Gunnar needs whatever that thing's called.
Motherfuckers really just love Gunnar Stockton's name.
Yeah, Gunnar.
Gunnar, bro.
I want Gunnar.
But Brock Vandegrift, too. That shit sounds like he came from like he'd a 4th or some shit. Well, hell, and think about it, the crazy part is Stetson Bennett is really the 4th.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Stetson sounds like he's from Blackshear. You know what I mean?
It does. You know, I started back listening to Paul Feinbaum a couple days a week now because it's college football season. One of the most entertaining podcasts that only ESPN podcasts I listen to, but one of the most entertaining podcasts out because those college football fans who call in, his regulars, are nuts.
Yeah, they're from Bumblefuck, Alabama. Some maybe Mississippi, some maybe even Georgia, right?
And Texas.
Because he's syndicated. Is he
SEC Network?
But I'm trying to think, is that only XM or like I know that he's got to be still on the local Alabama station.
Yeah, come on, man.
That's where he starts. Right?
Yeah, Birmingham. That's where he made his hay. But like they'd be like, Paul, let me tell you, that SOB who just called in talking about Auburn's coming back. He's batshit crazy, Paul. Auburn ain't going back nowhere but to the bumblefuck down there where they say War Damn Eagle, but they got a tiger on their helmet. I don't understand it. Roll Tide. You're just like,
damn.
What did I just listen to?
They just completely blew up this drive, too.
They did. I saw that.
But yeah, motherfucker will call in. They'll be like, Cletus from Hoover, Alabama. You're on with Paul Feinbaum. And he's like, yeah, Paul, I just wanted to say roll fucking Tide and, no dogs, fucking Eagle. And that's all I had to say, Paul.
Bro, it was this one guy he called and he was talking about A&M and he said that they mad that Texas coming to the SEC because they know who daddy is. And then
haven't been daddy.
And he said, who wants to go to College Station? I mean, they got male cheerleaders down there, Paul. Who wants to go there? I was like, whoa, you're going a little too far.
Right.
And then he called back. He called back yesterday, right? And he was like, Paul, for the people who thought that I said that Texas was going to come to the SEC and be daddy, they're wrong. I'm talking about just the A&M. We're A&M's daddy. It's like, yeah.
Let me see. You go. I never really knew. I mean, College Station is not a bad place to be. It looks like it's really close to Austin, and it looks like it's relatively close to Houston.
Sounds like it's close to cool stuff and not cool itself.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, let's see. Houston to College Station is an hour and 30 minutes.
Okay, that's not bad when you're an adult.
I'm just saying. Let's see. Austin to College Station is 2 hours. Okay. Well,
think about it. We didn't go to Athens.
I forget how wide Texas really is.
Think about it. If we didn't go to Athens as much as we would today if our interests were in Athens.
Absolutely, because it was a short drive, 50 minutes, 45 minutes. I mean,
yeah, but also we
maybe an hour tops, like.
An hour drive back then just seemed like way more daunting than it is now.
Well, and then I think you got to remember, too, all that drinking that we knew we were doing when we were there, the hangover back. Motherfuckers would stop at Raising Cane's.
Got to. A trip to Athens is not complete without stopping at Cane's.
Yeah, you got to go to Cane's. You would think. I remember one time I drove there in the Escalade. I had I know you weren't with us for that one, but you might have been going to the same thing.
I usually would see y'all in Athens in a separate car.
Yeah, I drove. I remember Dale was in the car.
I was gone by then. I was gone.
You know what? It might have been senior year. JP, our boy Miles, randomly it came with us. Josh, Jew, Justice. Like it was, we had a nice little group, and motherfuckers stopped at Raising Cane's as soon as we got there.
Yeah. No, that's what we do.
Everybody got a combo, in the drive-thru. So it was like 8 orders, bro. And it took us like an hour and a half to get our food. Like it felt like.
Bro, you want to hear something? Just I can't say this on mic. Never mind. It just wouldn't be good. Where do you want to start today?
Well, we already kind of led in with some college football, so I don't see why we can't start with that and then circle back around to because we haven't even got to do our predictions and stuff.
Nah, we did. Did we do it? No, we did like 2 weeks ago. You remember last week we did college football heavy.
But did we do predictions? I don't think we.
I think we did. I didn't go back and watch it.
We thought we were going to win conferences.
I think we just did CFP.
Okay, you know what? No, we did do CFP. Mm-hmm. I know that we did that. Okay. Well, regardless. Yeah, man, welcome back college football weekend. It's an appetizer for the NFL is what it is.
It's a good appetizer though. It's like some good it's like a good what would we call it? Stuffed mushrooms.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm a stuffed mushroom.
I'm not a big stuffed mushroom guy.
I love them.
I tell you what, they're like lobster fritters with the sauce. You know what I mean? Like a lobster fritter or
what do you think of the people who get wings as a no shit appetizer?
At a bar, I'm not mad, but anywhere else, no. Like, because there are some places, and it has to be a place that's not known for wings. Like you're not going to Taco Mac to get wings as an appetizer.
No, you're going to get wings.
Yeah, you're going to get wings, but there are other like barish, like, and it could be even an upscale type bar where like their dishes are like creative, but they're like bar food. Like,
yeah, I don't want those wings because they're gonna have like mango habanero
if they're using it as an appetizer.
It's gonna be like mango habanero. Like, bro, give me the lemon pepper and keep it moving.
Right.
I don't want your chef's exquisite wing flavors.
Did you used to go with us to World of Beer?
Never. Y'all did all the fun stuff after I left.
No, the World of Beer was something we did before.
Y'all did.
I thought we started in. I was about to say 11th grade. I thought we started junior year.
It took y'all forever to turn 21.
But we were going first of all, me and Jew always had fakes.
Yeah, but no one else did.
That's true. But most of the places we went, they would know and they just okay it. Like I used to have a hookup at Taco Mac. Shout out to my girl B. She used to really.
Hey.
I was going there since I was 18. But I had an older brother too, and like
so you were
doors, like
you were Godfather then.
Yeah. Because once I met them one time, I was good for forever. And so,
Kyle, so we got the fucking backyard bowl on right now.
Yeah, whatever this shit's called. I guess Pittsburgh is close to West Virginia, huh? I know it's all Appalachian kind of mountainy.
Yeah, I mean areas that people don't really go to.
Yeah, have you ever been to Pittsburgh?
No.
I shit you not, because me and you went to a Falcons Steelers game there, Heinz Field. I shit you not. Pittsburgh is a hell of a lot nicer than I thought it was. Like, it's actually, I can't speak for anything outside of the actual downtown city area, but it's honestly a solid place to watch football or go for sports. Like, even PNC Park, whenever I look at the Pirates are dreadful, but like whenever you watch them on TV, like the home run, somebody, the Braves will hit a home run. You got to see the steel bridge with the yellow. It's beautiful. Like, it really is nice. It's like mountainy. It's nice. It's probably one of the more underrated places to go for something like that, for a sporting event, at least.
Well, that makes sense. And we can shit on Pittsburgh, but I mean, they got football, baseball, and hockey. It's not like they're Green Bay with one team.
That too, relatively. They got as many pro sports teams as us. I mean, I don't count Atlanta United. No offense, Atlanta United, but we lost the Thrashers, of course, and
yeah, they're getting thrashed at the ticket booth.
Who? Oh, the Thrashers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Considering that was the second hockey team to come to Atlanta, they'll never come back here again. And the crazy part is, if the Thrashers ever came back to Atlanta, they would sell out. I know that people would go.
Because Atlanta it's turning into like a hipster town.
Progressive.
Yes, it's scammers and the progressives. So week 1 college football slate. We got the backyard brawl or backyard bowl, whatever they call it, on right now. You want to start with games that we care less about, or you want to start with games that we care most about?
Let's go ahead and put the big kahuna on there.
Okay, let's go. Go Dog Sick 'em?
Yeah, man. You already know where we're going with this.
Look, we had this conversation in the group text. Georgia's favored, 17?
Let me check and see what the current, because
I know the lines moved around a little bit.
It's gonna continue to flip flop up until game time.
ESPN has it at Georgia -17.
It's still 7. It's at 17, and that -17 for Georgia is -105. So
I think Georgia's gonna cover.
I think that it's gonna be one of those things where I could see it. Do you remember the Auburn game last year?
Talk me through it. Was it slow and then we picked it up late?
Yep. Basically, It started off slow. I think that Auburn even scored first. They kicked a field goal or something to start the game on the opening drive, and then we went 3 and out to start. And then we went up like 7-3. Then it was 10-3, and this was still like all the way almost until the end of the second quarter, and then we just ended up blowing the shit out of them in the second half because Kirby knows how to make adjustments, and more importantly, Auburn, as much as they still get talent, they're still not as talented as Georgia. And Georgia knew what they had on the line as well. I mean, undefeated season, best defense of all time. Right?
And
they own Bo Nix, by the way. So.
Yeah, and that's where I was going. Oregon's tried out Bo Nix, and I think I called him less good Sam Darnold.
Fair.
Reckless, more athletic than you think, shows flashes, but
plays well against mid-tier teams and mediocre teams, but when it comes to the big boys, he's getting his shit pushed in by Saban. He's getting his shit pushed in by Jimbo. He's getting his shit pushed in by Kirby. The elite coaches are getting in that ass. That's what's happening.
Oh, man, JT just missed one because the receiver lost his footing. But, yeah, you ask yourself, you go, what would make me think that Oregon keeps the game close? Well, Oregon, Mario, he left a good roster up there. Dan Lanning coming from Georgia, had some institutional knowledge. And then you go, well, he has Bo Nix playing quarterback.
I think that they're returning from last year. 4 of their 5 offensive linemen are returning. That's big in college football.
It is.
And an experienced group that's got the continuity. And let's not forget, and this is why I won't shit on them as an opponent, they did go to Ohio State and win last year. And regardless of everybody, or as Nick Saban would say, a rebuilding year for Ohio State, regardless of how everybody wants to look at that, they were still really good. And they did go there and win. So it's not like the game was on a neutral field or the game was in Oregon. They went to Ohio State and won.
That was early in the year, though, Pierce.
It was like week 2, but this is early in the year, too. This is week 1. Come on, get in there, boy.
That actually was week 2 because I remember watching it after a funeral.
I was in Vegas for that game. I mean, I was sitting right next to JP.
But no, I think it starts out a little slow. I think I think that Georgia barely covers, but the way Georgia goes crazy in the second half, I think that you'll go, oh wow, no, they really kicked their ass. Florida game similar. Remember, we played Florida tight. Then, like at the end of the first half, we had like the back-to-back touchdowns, and you're like, okay, this is getting ugly. And then it got ugly.
Yeah.
And they sent that boy. What's the quarterback's name from Florida? Not AR-15, who doesn't want to be AR-15 anymore.
You mean the guy that I think is even still there, or maybe he's just in the transfer portal and nobody's picked him up?
Yeah, that guy. He whose name we shall not remember.
He's so irrelevant at this point. He was so bad though.
He was. But no, I think Georgia wins big because all we've been hearing all offseason is that Alabama has a better team.
Emory Jones.
There we go, Emory Jones. How could we forget about Emory? But no, I think Georgia comes out with their back against the wall. I think Kirby can really sell the whole Dabo, nobody believes in us, because Saban says, oh, it was a rebuilding year. Desmond Howard, who I don't know if he's good at his job, says the best team didn't win the national championship. The healthiest team won the national championship. And Stephen A is like, yeah. And I'm running for president too. And I'm just like, if I'm Kirby, hey, video team, take all that. Yeah, we need all this stuff. Yep. Billboard material.
You want to know what it is too? A lot of people think it was fluke. Similar to the Braves in a weird way. I think a lot of people thought that shit was fluke. And I guess it's because everybody's so unused to seeing any Georgia teams do it. So
we dropped the ball on the goal line.
To see it, and then for it to, in both cases, they beat,
Right there, buddy.
Yeah.
Beat our nemesis, the Dodgers, and Saban.
And the Astros. The Astros have been a very good the Astros have been like 4 World Series in the last 6 years. Like, people don't even realize that, but the Astros are a very good baseball team. But
their manager, he doesn't win World Series.
Well, they got a new one after the cheating.
Dusty. I'm talking about Dusty though.
I'm talking about for Dusty though, because Dusty's been to 2, and then the other guy did 2, but he's the one that won 2. But then again, they cheated. So, but yeah, I think that everybody was just a little shocked, and I think that it's kind of like, and then the fact that you're bringing Stetson back, a lot of people in Georgia, obviously, he got booed. Remember?
Yeah.
When he started, and he got booed that day. I think JT was back healthy, but they started him, and the home crowd booed him. Went out there, and I think he threw 5 or 6 touchdowns that day. And
you remember, we were on the phone during the national championship when I broke my phone when he had that terrible fumble.
Yeah.
And Jude was saying things he shouldn't say.
Oh man, and it's crazy. We were at the Battery.
Yeah, I know, and I wanted to go, and Jude was calling me all types of things for not going. Oh, I want to work on my relationship, ass nigga, and like, bro. Sorry,
I'm getting married soon, dude.
Yeah. Sorry, buddy.
But he didn't understand that.
Well, nobody did.
He didn't get it.
Nobody did. Next big game, Ohio State, Notre Dame.
17.5 there. It just
see how Marcus Freeman handled that at the press conference.
Yeah, he was like, he's like, what was the spread again or something like that? He's like 17. He's like, okay.
Before we get into this game, I like Marcus Freeman. I like what he did at Cincy. I listened to a couple of interviews. I just like the way he talks, the way he carries himself. You know how we've had this age-old argument about how Notre Dame couldn't get certain players because of their academics.
Mm-hmm.
And I also want to add to that because of the stigma of the school. Certain people who look like you and I are just like, bro, I'm not going there. Like, no. I think Marcus Freeman is the diversity hire that may actually work. Hey, we like you guys too. I think he actually can talk the talk in a way when he's recruiting that can convince some guys to come there that Brian Kelly couldn't even get into their fucking living room.
And he's a younger guy too.
Yeah.
And I think that helps. He's more relatable because even with an old white coach, like, Brian Kelly's probably 60. Brian Kelly going down to LSU talking trying to be a Louisiana accent. And then, then he had the one recruit like twerking on him. And God knows what song was playing when they were doing that.
Probably Cardi B.
Yeah, it could have been just some dumb shit. Like, nobody's going to believe that. It's just like, man, you were really trying to suck my dick so that I can come here. But then you're going to treat me like dog shit when I get here. And then you're going to say the guy ahead of me is better. And then I have to sit a year. I think Freeman's going to be real with the guys. And he's going to, they introduce those new jerseys that they're going to wear for that one game in Vegas. So I feel like there's like a little bit of a swagger adjustment going on with such a traditional Catholic school, which, by the way, that Lou Holtz shit that you sent, might be the funniest shit that I've seen all year. And I mean that wholeheartedly.
Oh,
only because his Lou Holtz impression was dead on.
It was. I was dying when I listened to it back to back, right? When I sent it. Then I pulled it up on the TV yesterday, and Cindy was like, it's not that funny. Like he's like doing it too long. And I go, I was like, you don't know. So then I pulled up a Lou Holtz video after so she could actually hear Lou Holtz talk. She died laughing.
Because man, it was and that's such a random person for somebody to do an impression of. So,
it was.
But he has a distinguished voice and stuff, and the way he talks, it's as if his nose is always running, and it's like.
But his lisp is at the back of his mouth, like it's not with the tip of his tongue.
It's like
he had that lisp like this, you know. Oh God, that was hilarious. What are your thoughts on Lou Holtz writing Brian Kelly 9 letters and Brian Kelly not responding to him?
I think it's only funny too, just because the way that he brought it up in the segment. I feel like Lou Holtz, obviously he did really do it if it came out, I'm assuming, but like at the same time, I really do think that he probably looked at it and was like,
the fuck is this?
Well, that he probably used to write Ty Willingham. He probably used to write Charlie Weiss, and they did respond. And like, I feel like he probably did feel slighted by a guy like Brian Kelly. But Brian Kelly, does he not kind of strike you as an asshole a little bit too? Like,
oh, absolutely. I think Brian Kelly thinks he is every bit Nick Saban, Dabo Swinney, and that's why he's doing
LSU.
And that's why he went to LSU to prove to the world, y'all talking about Link. Let me tell you what I did. I rebuilt Notre Dame. I went undefeated with Cincy. Luke Fickell ain't got shit on me.
Right.
And I'm like the only Brian Kelly truther in our group. I'm like, yo, this guy can coach.
I'm not saying he can't coach, but even when Notre Dame was doing all that, they were barely winning games. Like we and Justice went back. So we went back and looked at their 2 playoff appearances.
Okay.
We looked at the schedule and what they did. And like
soft schedules.
Bro, there was like a week where they played like Toledo at home and they won 23-16. I can't get behind a coach that's doing that at home against Toledo. I can't. I'm not saying he's not a good coach. I just don't think he's in that tier with those guys that you just named.
I don't either. I think he's a tier below him. I think he's a better coach than Ed Orgeron.
I agree. Ed Orgeron, the only thing that he's ever had to his name, he's a hell of a recruiter, apparently.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you know, who wouldn't want to play for that? Who wouldn't want to play for that man when he comes in there with that strong ass Louisiana accent and he's just telling "Go Tigers," you know? like, you know what I mean? He's the type that'll invite you to his house and have his wife cook you a legitimate alligator.
Not anymore. He got the little young thotties. Did you see that?
No.
So after his divorce, he had his little young thotties around the program. Little young 25-year-old dirty butts.
Yeah.
Coach O giving it up. You know, but Coach O and what's his name, Lou Holtz, you know, what sinks their ship is their allegiance to President Trump. And unfortunately, we live in a society where we now have to publicize our political views, which I think is nuts, honestly.
But it doesn't kill a lot of people. I mean, Tom Brady didn't go to hell over it. And everybody knows goddamn well that Tom's friends with Trump.
Who did you say?
Tom.
You said the GOAT?
Yes, man. I said the GOAT.
Bro, they get to do whatever they want.
Come on, man. Nick Saban voted for Donald Trump. Like, come on, man.
And I wouldn't think twice, and I expect him to.
like, come on, man.
But he doesn't talk about it. Coach O was like going places with, like being seen with him, being like, you know, like
Steve Harvey. You know, this is the one thing that gets lost in the Kanye shuffle when it came to that. Not to get too far off topic, but Kanye, the day that he wore the hat and was in there hugging him, Steve Harvey was there, and so was fucking
Didn't Jim Brown go?
Yeah, Jim Brown was sitting at the table with Kanye, and it's just like nobody talks about it. It's only because Kanye had the hat on,
and because that doesn't get clicks.
And for what it's worth, Kanye's a very outgoing person. Like, he speaks his mind on, seems like everything, and so
yeah.
Maybe it's because Jim Brown's not saying much. Jim Brown's not on Instagram. He's not.
Jim Brown still talks.
You know what I mean? Jim Brown doesn't do fucking interviews.
Can Jim Brown still talk? Do words leave his mouth when he opens it?
The last time I heard Jim Brown talk was on "I'm Gonna Get You Sucker." So,
last time I heard Jim Brown talk was the last time I listened to Richard Pryor stand up when he was talking about he was on Freebase and Jim Brown came into his house. Anyways, who you got?
We're going to fix later.
You going Notre Dame plus 17 and a half? Or you going Ohio State with the shellacking?
And it's okay, actually, because I can talk on this one because it's not a part of my six pack.
Okay.
Man, I would lean towards going probably Ohio State, and I would probably buy the point, just because I think that there's just a lot of unknown with Notre Dame going into it. I think that they're definitely way overranked. Like, they shouldn't be ranked number 5. And then what number 5 team goes on the road to another team in the top 5 and is a 3-scorer dog? That doesn't happen. You know what I mean? So
here's what it tells you. It tells you that Vegas sees the top teams as those guys, right? They see them in a different league. But it also tells you that there's a lot of money on Ohio State, and they may see Notre Dame. They may see Notre Dame better than we think they do because they know college lines are so weird. Like, shout out to the people who can bet them well. But college lines are so weird, and they're like, we're gonna eat off these people because we don't think Notre Dame covers a 17 and Ohio State covers a 17.5 point spread.
And it's generous for Notre Dame. Like, it's really, really generous. Like, because think about it. If you take the full 17.5 and you don't buy the point to get it to 16.5, you're really saying they're going to beat them, obviously, by 18 plus, as opposed to 2 touchdowns and a field goal. And that's another weird line because it's not lined up perfectly. Like, the Georgia game is 17 straight up.
Straight up.
You know, it's not 16.5. It's not 17.5. It's 17. So it can push. Whenever there's a 0.5, you can't push, obviously. So it's like, it's odd because you're either saying that they can keep it within 3 scores or they're going to really get doors blown. Because if you're taking Ohio State 17.5, you're pretty confident that the score is going to be like 41-17. Like, you have no doubts about it being that. Because think about it, when it's 17.5, you're talking about the game could be a 24-point game with 5 minutes left and Notre Dame has the ball and they go down and they just score a garbage time touchdown and then you don't cover. So, like, that's the fear I have with the Georgia game. But Georgia doesn't strike me as a team that's giving up points. Ohio State, I feel like, and maybe it's a Big Ten bias that I have, I feel like they're the type of team that's just not going to close out a game, like, especially when they have it in hand. Like, Georgia, them backups are 5-star freshmen and sophomores. So, like, there's pride because they want more PT. At Ohio State, it's already set. I mean, it's set at Georgia too, but, like, those guys can still earn more playing time. Like, Kirby will give them more playing time. Like,
there's a couple things. I listened to Tommy Rees talk at the end of last year, and he talked about them Notre Dame overachieving last year because, you know, they were like hanging right outside of the top 5 or top 4. He said they overachieved last year, and this year was supposed to be their year. So if this year is supposed to be their year, and maybe they turn up and they make it their year, can we officially wave the flag of Ryan Day as overrated? And was it Dabo who said he started on third base and thought he hit a triple?
About Ryan Day?
Yeah, no, that was Harbaugh. Harbaugh said he started on third base and thought he hit a triple.
That's a hell of a thing.
Jim's funny.
My question is, who's the quarterback at Notre Dame? Because last year it was Jack Cohen, and Jack Cohen was a transfer, a senior redshirt transfer from Wisconsin, who had time playing in Wisconsin. Wasn't a great quarterback, but by all means still had the experience. I don't know who the quarterback is.
Tyler Buckner.
But we all know that C.J. Stroud is the guy. He's the Heisman favorite. And What a statement to beat a top 5 team in blowout fashion and, throw up 350 yards, 5 touchdowns. Just to kick off the college football season, biggest game of the week, top 5 matchup. It's a statement game for Ohio State because if they can blow them out, everybody knows that, no offense to Michigan, Michigan's going to get their ass fucking chewed this year because the game isn't at the big house this year either. And that's why last year it was low-key kind of easy to bet on Michigan in that game. It's certainly on the points because it was like +8. And if there was a year that Jim was going to do it, it had to have been last year.
So you don't think Michigan bounces back
to repeat in the Big Ten? Absolutely
They
not.
are still in the quarterback controversy going into week 3. One quarterback is going to start week 1, and another one is going to start week 2.
And I think Cade McNamara is back too. That's the crazy part.
He's back. Fans don't like him.
Well, hell, we saw what he did against Georgia. Nothing. And I get it, it's Georgia, but still, he didn't do anything.
Hey, how bad of a coach was USC's old coach? I can't even think of his fucking name now. Georgia Southern's, huh?
Mr. Georgia Southern?
Yeah.
Clay Helton?
Like, how bad was he to see that you got JT Daniels starting at West Virginia after leaving Georgia? You got Slovis starting at Pitt after leaving USC. You had Amon-Ra St. Brown play for USC. You had Juju Smith-Schuster play for USC. Sam Darnold, well, he got the best of Sam Darnold. But he has productive college players that he had and productive pro players on his roster, but USC sucked.
And it gets no better than recruiting grounds for USC. You're selling LA to somebody. How easy is it to sell Los Angeles to somebody?
Especially with Georgia being in Athens and not in Atlanta. Especially with Texas being in Austin, which I know people love Austin, but not Houston.
Or Dallas.
With Alabama being in Tuscaloosa. Have you ever been to Tuscaloosa?
Yeah.
For an Alabama game? Oh, yeah, for Collin.
Mr. Sexton. Which shouts out to my man Collin, man. Which I guess we'll probably get to that a little bit later, but shouts out to Collin.
I mean, we can talk about him now because are there any more week 1 college football matchups that we actually care about? Because college football does a terrible job of scheduling. Like, why would you not take advantage of the only weekend you have with no NFL and put all your crazy matchups on there?
We got 2 that we can talk about. We got Utah, Florida, and it's not looked at as a bigger match, but it is still 2 ranked teams and an interesting matchup, to say the least. Cincinnati at Arkansas.
Arkansas dog walks those boys. Cincinnati lost entirely too much. I think Luke Fickell can coach, but I don't think that he has this many pro players replacing the pro players that he let go. Like, it looked like Cincinnati looked like a high-end Power 5 team last year and the last few years.
High-end?
With the number of pros that they had, they made the college football.
You're talking about draft-wise. I thought you're talking about actual eye test field, what you saw.
I'm saying draft picks, the way they finished, they made the college football playoff.
What, Sauce went 4th?
Yeah.
Sauce went 4. Obviously, Ritter was the second quarterback taken. Kobe Bryant, I think, went in the 6th or 7th round.
Yeah. No, he went 6th or 7th. He went deep. Pause.
Really? He fell that far?
Yeah. Wow. But nonetheless,
he was pretty good though.
They had like 8 or 9 pro guys come off that roster. They're not a factor. They're not Bama. They're not Georgia. They're not Clemson.
Alec Pierce, their top wide receiver, went to the Colts, and he was a late 2nd round pick. I think Matt Ryan's going to put him to good use, but because he could be maybe a next Cooper Kupp. Who knows? Because he's he's like 6'4", but he's
we are all here to do what Falcons do. Look at that.
Had to, but no, I think Arkansas is actually building something sustainable there. Although they lost Alec Burks, I think they dog walked these boys. Traylon Burks. Sorry, Alex Burks is the dumbass basketball player.
Yeah.
Traylon Burks. Sorry.
Now this is the thing that I brought up. Like you said, they lost all that talent, and then you add that in, and you got Arkansas. They built on what they did last year. I think they got to 10 wins after they won their bowl game. I think they were 9-3, and then they won their last game, so they were 10-3. 10-win season. And we're talking about 2 of their losses were to Alabama and Georgia. And by the way, that Alabama loss was by 7 at Tuscaloosa. They only lost by 7.
There's no shame in losing by 7 to Alabama and Tuscaloosa.
And Pittman's the coach. So obviously it came from Georgia and also was an Alabama person. So he's of that Kirby, Saban thread. And so apparently he's the best offensive line recruiter in the nation. Everybody knows Arkansas, they're hogs.
Them hogs.
It's hogs.
You know who played on that O-line, right? Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones did play at Arkansas, and I'm sure that he's a booster there. I wouldn't surprise me one bit that he's a booster. Hell, I remember they used to play at Jerry World almost every year, it seemed like.
What's his Julian Edelman was on Chris Long's podcast, and he talked about Nick Saban being one of the biggest Kent State boosters.
Even now?
He went to Kent State.
I know, but
it shouldn't be allowed, right?
I don't think it should. No. No.
That's what Julian. Hey.
And I guess because it's so irrelevant to the point because it's not like Kent State would ever face Alabama. Like when Kirby was the DC at Alabama,
why can't be a Georgia booster?
Why would he be giving Georgia money? You know what I mean? Like why? Like, and we know that Kirby clearly loves UGA,
bro.
Right?
I'll tell you how funny this grad business school process is. With like Tennessee being named after Jimmy Haslam, and then Michigan, their business school is named after the Miami Dolphins owner,
Ross.
Ross, you just like see these names, you go, hold on, Haslam School of Ross School of.
They're also, for what it's worth, they're also they are business people, and they've got to be the most successful business alums. So, like,
they deserve it. You know what I mean? Like,
that's like when because it's called Bryant Denny Stadium at Alabama. They're gonna change that.
Got to be Saban Stadium when they build a new one,
or Saban Field, something.
Yeah, it got to be named after Nick, the best guy to ever do it.
Yeah, or they could even call it, Bear Saban Stadium for all I fucking care.
Fuck that, Saban. Roll Tide. Let me tell you, boy. Hey, Paul, let me tell you, when that tide gets to rolling, there's no stopping that damn tide. Nick Saban gonna be there forever. And when Saban dies, Kirby already said he's gonna come back to Bama. I know he was Georgia. He went to Georgia. He won the national championship at Georgia, but his heart's in Bama. Kirby's gonna come back. And if Kirby don't come back, Jimbo will come back and take over for Saban. I know they're beefing right now, but it ain't nothing. Saban to fix it because it's Roll Tide over here, and who wouldn't want to roll with the fucking Tide? Thanks, Paul.
and that's exactly how it sounds. And so,
I listened to this woman talking about, I was just listening to random Feinbaum clips on YouTube, and she said she kicked her husband out the house, out the bed. He couldn't sleep in the room because she was so sick because Auburn kept losing. She said he couldn't come back in the room till Auburn won. It was hilarious. But you want to get to the big boys?
You want
to talk Danny Ainge.
Well, we got one more, Utah, Florida. And this game has special interest for me.
I got Utah.
Exactly. Josh and Justice, they seem to think that because Florida's in the SEC that they're just going to win a game. And I get it, the game's on the road, but like nobody realizes how good Utah was last year.
I don't think – I hate saying this without them being here to hear me say it, but they can listen to the pod. I don't think – people, and sometimes Josh and Justice. Josh is very good at this, like going with his eye test and not going with what's actually happened. But they don't follow recruiting rankings and the types of players that get recruited. Utah recruits in the trenches. What sets the SEC apart from the other conferences is the blend of trench play and skill play. The Big Ten, they do a good job in the trenches. Ohio State has the great skill players. Their trenches are meh. But what's made Utah so good is they got the hogs.
They play smash mouth football.
They do.
They run hard. They're not toss sweeping it. They're right up the middle. Okay. That's where they want to go.
And they have linemen that can actually compete with the SEC linemen.
And linebackers. They tackle well. They're a disciplined team. And there's no fluke to why they're ranked number 7. And you know what? Look, maybe AR-15 comes out and he's throwing bombs. I have to see it first because I know what I saw last year when they put him in, and it wasn't anything. They were like a 23.5-point favorite against South Carolina. They fucking lost outright by like 21. So you're talking about a 43-point difference from the fucking spread, 44-point difference. And so I have to see it. And he started that game. Anthony Richardson started that game. And so, like,
I don't believe in Anthony Richardson. He looked good. I see that big run.
No. Big run, though.
Apparently, Anthony Richardson was a standout at the Manning camp, but, that's in shorts and helmets. Touchdown pick. Excuse me, touchdown West Virginia.
Oh, great.
Number 0. Since when did 0 become a football number? Gilbert Arenas?
Well, once Russ kind of ruined it, they were like, let's just take it from basketball and make it a football number. He's not treating it right.
But yeah, I got Utah winning. I don't think Billy Napier is a bad coach, but it's his first game.
It's going to take him some time and it's not even a true rebuild in a place like that, but that's a place where, hell, when Nick Saban got to Alabama, he went 6-6 his first year. I think when Kirby got here, he went 7-6. It will take you
it takes a year or two.
Yeah, it will take you at least a year. And they both went to the national. Well, obviously Saban won the national championship, but they both went to the national championship the very next year. And so, and I'm not saying that that's in Florida's future because look, they still got those guys in Athens that are going to be tough. And South Carolina is going to be. I think they're going to be. If there's a surprise team in the SEC that pushes Georgia at all, it's going to be them. And it's only because the thought is Spence was the Heisman favorite to start last year, number 1 pick favorite. There was so much around Spencer. He had a bad year. I don't know what went wrong. I don't know if he had any personal issues. But the thought is fresh start, SEC.
You're fired.
Better team. I like Beamer's son. I think Shane Beamer is a solid coach. I think he proved that last year. He coached South Carolina up. They looked great. The second half of the season, they look like a completely different team.
Hey, Mark Stoops going to have something to say about that, especially if they get that running back for week 2. You got the DUI. What's his name? Rodriguez?
Yeah.
Hope I got his last name right.
Fuck Kentucky. Somebody went out and said that shit, and he took offense. Coach Calipari went out, and this was recent, too. This was like within the last 2 weeks. Coach Calipari was either on a podcast or he got a radio interview or something.
Uh-huh.
He came out and was basically like, Kentucky is a basketball school. And like Mark Stoops took offense to that. Like, because he was, just talking about the program and like, why he's like, you look around the SEC, he said, this is a basketball school. So he took offense to it and like added him on like Twitter and everything.
Mark Stoops, Kentucky is a basketball school. Hey, Paul. Paul, I'm happy to see Mark Stoops building his program up here at Kentucky. Go Big Blue. But guess what? Calipari, he's God around here. Adolph Rupp, that Ray-Son bit, he's God around here. Anthony Davis can come back here anytime he wants and buy new street clothes from us, Paul. We love AD around here.
Not the fucking street clothes. Not the fucking street clothes.
Hey, well, man, let's talk about a player who's been in street clothes and it's going to come out and make a boom. Danny strikes again. Danny Ainge strikes again. He makes a blockbuster trade. Hi, Knicks fans. It's not happening for you.
Fucking New York Knicks. They suck anyways.
But I knew it wasn't happening for the Knicks once they read up RJ Barrett. You go, okay, they're not. They're out of the Donovan Mitchell. They're out of the Donovan Mitchell. What's that thing called?
Sweepstakes. Overpay like fuck too. They're paying him $30 million a year, and they just paid Brunson. Is it 27.5 or 25 or 23 or something?
Close.
Between 23.5 and 27.5 per year is what Brunson's getting.
All right, so let's see what we got here. The Cavs send Collin Sexton, Lauri Markkanen. I'm not even going to try to say Ochai Agbaji.
Player at Kansas this past year.
3 first-round picks, 2 pick swaps to the Utah Jazz for Donovan Mitchell. Collin Sexton is also signing a 4-year, $72 million contract via sign and trade with the Utah Jazz. I said this straight up when this trade first happened. Long shot, scoring title, Collin Sexton.
He's definitely somebody you can go there, and even if you just got $10 to lay on it.
Yeah, no. You just pepper it. It's a bet you make right now, and you forget about it.
Right, and then if you just look at me, you're like, huh.
Oh, shit, he's averaging 28.5?
Yeah, he's averaging 28.7, and we're 66 games into the season, you know? And then you look around, and you're like, okay, KD's at 29.1. LeBron's at 26.7. You know, you start looking around,
the 50
like,
piece.
Well, and then more importantly, they're not going to shut him down. He wants to play.
And they want to lose. And unfortunately for Collin, this is going to continue, I think, the false narrative about him as good stats, bad team, because he's probably going to have his best. I really think he's going to have his best season yet.
I agree.
And his team's going to be terrible, but his team is going to be terrible by design again.
But it really, I think it works out perfectly for him. I'm so happy for that, brother. I text him and, you know, sent him congrats, you know, not because, you know, you're going to Utah necessarily, but because he signed the contract. And this is a day. I know that he, you know, draft day was the day that he was waiting for, but I know that this is a day that he's always waited for. Well, since we were kids, I know that, you know, and it's so funny because obviously NBA players, they made a lot of money back then too, but like, you know, when we were playing, we weren't playing to eventually get paid. Like, we just wanted to play in the NBA. Like, yeah, I think the lifestyle of it would have been cool. But when he's 7 and I'm 11, I don't think that, like, we're sitting up thinking about, man, we're going to get all the women we want. We'll have all the jewelry. We'll have all the money. We'll have a big house, like all this. I don't even think that was a thought, bro.
Hey, quick question for you, though.
Yeah.
What, besides, like, the tangible things that you buy, right, and maybe, like, the names behind the women, what are these NBA players doing that we can't do on a weekend?
Nothing overall. You know what I mean? Like, house dumb. You know, they house be dumb as
house is dumb.
Dumb.
And the chicks are bad, but they usually spend
with a bad chick.
Yeah, but they be spending money, like big money for, like, hold on, you spent that for that?
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy 3 drinks and get to making her laugh.
I myself have slept with somebody that has slept with an NBA player. And, like, the thing is, when it comes to that type of stuff, it's kind of like, okay. Like, I'm just curious as to, did you just give him ass off strength of his name? Or, like, did he give you, like, what did he do? Or did you just want to fuck him because he was in the league? Like, how did that work out? Right?
I had a partner who was sharing a chick with Wale while we were in college.
Really?
Yeah.
Lotus flower bomb.
Yes.
Fireflies.
Yes.
She give me eye.
Yeah.
I know Miguel sung the hook, but
yeah. They were sharing a chick while we were in college.
Yeah.
And but the way he found out was because Wale was like, "Don't I know you?" And he was like, "No, you famous. I'm not. I'm just a normal." You know what I'm saying? And then come to find out, Wale had been going through her phone and seeing pictures. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I wonder how that felt to be. But you know what? They know that, because any chick, if you're not like the main, like any chick that's sleeping with any athlete or entertainer has to think there's no way that she's just giving it to me, because I'm not fucking her every night, because I'm fucking other chicks every night. And they know that I am. And they still are normal too. Like, I'm not changing her life. Just because I fly her out to Cabo for a weekend. Well, what about the other weekends? I mean, he's got this. Well, and
I ain't putting her up in the loft.
People have her. You're right, exactly. He's not paying for her place to stay. Like, you know. But then again, there are some chicks that really hope, you know, for them to, you know, slip up. But I think with this trade, both of them. First of all, I said this last year during the playoffs. when they blew game 2, it was game 3. They blew game 3.
Blow it up.
Oh, bro, I said it. You know what's so funny? Every time that I say it, it somewhat happens. I did it too when Toronto got swept by Cleveland that year. I said, I hope that they blow this smelly ass team up. And it's the same thing I said about Utah this year. And Toronto didn't blow it up. They just switched out a player for a player.
They traded for Kawhi.
And they got Danny Green, which is an underrated piece of that team that they ended up getting in the trade. But brilliant. I think that Danny won, honestly, because Utah was never going to be – and I remember because we talked about this because you were just like – you were kind of on the fence that they weren't going to do it because nobody's going to come. So, like, what are they going to do? But to me, it was always just like, if you're going to continue to lose in the first round and then even at best lose in 5 games, 6 games in the second round, well, yeah, they're in the same position that the Atlanta Hawks were in for years.
Well, here's the thing. I think Danny won this trade. I think Danny won with this move.
I think he won with the trade too.
Huh?
I think he won with the Gobert trade.
I
think
think
he's bad enough to get Wembaye or the guy from France.
I think both teams got what they wanted out of the deal, and only time will tell, right? Because Danny got a player who today is
Donovan Mitchell can do. Literally.
I was gonna say who is Donovan Mitchell light today.
And he's younger. He's still
younger. But has the potential to be what Donovan Mitchell already is. If
not better.
And paying him less.
And and a significantly less amount of
money.
But
he brings in Lauri Markkanen, who, I mean, he's worth something. And you get more draft picks.
On the Cavs last year, they were the AC. He was a starter.
You get draft picks, you get the opportunity to build your team and make it better. So I go, Danny got what he wanted. And Cleveland looks at it like this. We think this upgrades our team, although they're going to be what Portland tried to be. 2 small ball dominant guards, but they actually have the big men who can clean up the rim. Mm-hmm. So their perimeter defense is going to be fucking terrible. But the NBA, they don't shoot mid-range. And that's what you're going to have to do when you play Cleveland, is shooting the mid-range. So Cleveland got what they want. They go, I don't care about these draft picks because we're going to be good, and these players aren't going to make our roster anyways. So what I was saying in the group, here's where Danny makes his money, is moving up out of the lottery into the lottery to get a Robert Williams type guy, one of those fringe guys who's not gonna sell tickets, but's going to change your team.
And even though people don't sign in Utah, they will have the cap space. And if Collin is an attractive enough young talent, and you do get Wembaye, that what's supposed to be a once-in-a-lifetime type talent like they're trying to talk him up to be, which, I mean, I've watched the videos. He does seem like a very unique, maybe not as big a prospect, but more unique than LeBron even. And LeBron had all that size and power and speed, but like this guy, he really does look like a mixture of Kevin Durant, Chet, and I know we haven't seen Chet really, but like he's like this.
I ain't gonna see him.
I
saw some Porzingis in there
because he's actually a center too, and apparently he's an elite defender, shot blocker. Did you see the video of him putting? Now, granted, it was a workout, but he was doing fucking Rudy Gobert, and that's a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. So. And he's only 17, 18, right? So
I'm not really impressed by Rudy Gobert.
I'm not either. The more and more I think about it, he's going to be a good fit though with Minnesota.
Yeah, no, he's going to be great there.
Cat don't clog up the lane too much. Cat's going to be playing on the perimeter a lot more.
He
has to be. He almost has to.
Did you listen to Gilbert Arenas give his comments on Giannis that the sports media picked up 3 weeks later with Phil Handy? So Gilbert said, pretty much said Giannis doesn't know how to play basketball, right? He No, not like that. Like he talked about his skill and his feel for the game, right? And the media took off. They were like, Gilbert's a hater. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Giannis obviously knows how to play basketball, this, that, and the third. Look at what he's done. And I listened to the entire conversation because I listened to Gilbert enough to know that if you take a Gilbert soundbite especially about a non-skilled player, it's gonna sound outlandish, and you're gonna be like, bro, what is he talking about? But he just talked about, bro, he's only playing 32 minutes a game. He's not playing 38. Like, he needs more minutes. Hold on.
Oh,
And he was like, if you just watch, like, he acknowledged that, like, yeah, he beats you with brute force and in his will, right? There's nothing you can do about that. And what I took from it is, all Gilbert is saying is other players have a more nuanced game, and Giannis just needs to add more nuance to his game. The brute force thing, it's working today because there's nobody who physically can match up with him. But imagine if Giannis could pump fake 2 dribble pull up. Like look at LeBron. LeBron didn't come in with a refined game.
No, he couldn't shoot threes at all.
Fuck shoot threes. He could pass and get to the basket. But now look at his game. When you see LeBron pull up for a 3, especially if he's open, you assume it's going in.
He tries to pull the Curry type shit.
And don't let him do the little look aside sidestep shit. Yeah.
You mean well, I can't do it because it won't be captured. But yeah,
right. You know what I'm talking about.
Feet and then
like you think it's going in. So long story short, Gil was saying Giannis's game isn't layered, and I just hate when the sports media, especially like media guys, right, not former players, take what a former player says and they don't listen to the entire segment. They listen to the sound bite and have this, oh no, he doesn't know what he's talking about. And you go, Gilbert Arenas is Dame Lillard mixed with John Wall, but before they happened.
Mm-hmm.
And he just had some injuries that stopped it. But Gilbert at his peak and the respect that he gets from high-end NBA players, y'all don't get to poke holes in him because y'all think y'all matter so much, you media motherfuckers.
Well, and then you got to remember too, then there's also the idea that, social media today is ran by Gen Z, and Gen Z didn't watch Gilbert Arenas play. We did. We actually saw him. Like I told you, I think I told you this. Kobe Bryant's always been my favorite player, but I've always there's been 3 other players I used to really love as a kid. Paul Pierce, yes, in part because he had my name is in his name. That was a part of it. Plus 34 was my number growing up. That was also my dad's number. But Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, which is so funny. I'm a Lakers fan. And so you would have thought that when they were on the Celtics that it would be, but it wasn't. But Ray Allen and then Gilbert Arenas. Those were 3 guys I used to love watching play. And Gilbert Arenas, he inspired me so much because I remember his Adidas commercial. He had I used to think I was a 0. And that was the reason why he picked the number 0. And he said, he would just go to the gym over and over and over again and just keep working on his game. Then he got disrespected, drafted at the very end of the first round. After he was pretty good.
No, he got drafted second round.
Okay, that was the start of the second round. And
he got pissed because his teammates got drafted over him.
Yeah, and he was the best player at Arizona.
But why he got underdrafted?
Why?
Because he was a combo guard, and they combo guard is just like a mobile quarterback. Certain people just didn't like him. And because during the draft process, he was just a nigga. When they had a conditioning test
podcast today that he's a nigga,
Yeah, well, no, they had their conditioning test, right? And they have all the prospects in there, and he's like, why do y'all care how fast I run on the treadmill? That doesn't matter. And he showed up in Chucks, white Chucks. And he said, no, I'm not running. I'm not messing up my Chucks. So he didn't run.
Nobody should act like they're above, especially when you're trying to get drafted,
So I don't agree with how he did it because I would have just did what they told me to do so I can get my bag. But he was like, yo, I'm good at basketball. Let's go play basketball. All this extra shit y'all got us doing have nothing to do with me being good at basketball and evaluate how good I am at basketball. I was like, that's a fair point, but that's just not how this shit works. And then obviously when he got a chance to play basketball, he did what he did and he went crazy. And He was hitting walk-off shots and turning around and putting his hands up, and now it's on 2K.
Yeah. Well, and players. Gilbert was the first guy shooting from deep like that.
Yes. Well, nobody pulling up from half court before Gil.
Yeah, and obviously he would do this, the hibachi. Bro, Gilbert Arenas, he was such a dog. For like 3 years in the NBA, he was very good.
If you hear him and other players talk about like his work ethic, you got to catch that, son.
I know, right?
But like Gil worked hard. Like he worked hard. But let's get off of Gil. Shout out to Danny Ainge for making a good deal. Shout out to Cleveland for showing their fans and free agents that they're trying to make a legitimate push.
And I'm not mad at it. To me, it's crazy, but like this is a win-win trade. I think that
I believe
we didn't get to see what Collin looked like, unfortunately, with that group. And he was he's the one that started off that group, basically.
I think there would be some issues because, Darius Garland got the all-star fill-in because it was in Cleveland. Not to say that he didn't deserve to be an all-star reserve, but I think there would have been some Collin Darius issues because Collin was there first.
For 3 years.
And now Darius is like, nah, it's my team, bro. That's my bite. You know what I'm saying?
And then Kevin Love is the only leftover from the championship team who himself is still a quality player in the NBA. He's a role player. But Kevin Love is good to give you 14 and 7 still, even coming off the bench. He still is that good. If he's healthy, he's still that good. I like what Cleveland is building, and they're not going to throw the flag?
No, they're not going to reward JT for making that bad decision, but that was bad. That's PI like hell.
I know. Well, he was like shoving him out of bounds as he's trying to catch the ball.
He didn't even get his head around.
That's crazy. But a good win-win trade, I think, overall. And like I said, shouts out to Collin because now Collin, I think that this is what outside of obviously getting paid, even though I think that he left some money on the table personally, but
I think he's ready to get his future figured out, man.
Outside of getting traded, this is the best part. You're the face of the Utah Jazz now. As of this year, you're the face of the team. You're
Maravich, John Stockton,
Mark
Eaton, Karl Malone,
Greg Ostertag,
Darren Williams,
Jeff Hornacek, Carlos Boozer, even for a little bit. Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell.
Rudy Gobert.
And think about it, Rudy Gobert is always just going to be known. His claim to fame, as good of a defensive player as he is going to be him touching a mic and talking about fuck COVID and then testing positive 2 days later.
Man,
and then literally shutting down the world. As soon as he tested positive, the NBA was like, all right, we're going to pause the season. And then the rest of the world followed suit.
Hey, let's talk about a city that's pretty close to Utah, and that's Denver. Denver Broncos, the 9-time Pro Bowl quarterback Russell Wilson agreed on a contract extension.
Whoa,
the deal is worth
$200 Pro Bowler?
Huh?
Russ has made 9 Pro Bowls?
Yeah.
Oh my, really?
Yeah, new deal is worth $245 million over 5 years, including $165 in guarantees. So that locks him up for 7 years with Denver. I'm ready for the full details to come out, and I'll have more analysis on this contract, but I want to let you guys know that Russell Wilson did what I expected Russell Wilson to do because he's a company man. He took a team-friendly contract, and when you're in a league that is collectively bargained, when you are in a league and you're a part of a players union and you're one of the players who are actually at the top of your position, you are supposed to demand top money. Whether you get the top in guarantees or you get the top in per year, Russ did nothing. He did not reset either market. He's getting less than Aaron Rodgers, which Aaron Rodgers is better than him, back-to-back MVP. Okay. And he's getting less guaranteed than Deshaun Watson, who's getting $230 million guaranteed. Guess what, Russ? You fucked over the other quarterbacks who go to the negotiating table. What Deshaun Watson did, Deshaun Watson got a contract that nobody else would give him, and Jimmy and D. Haslam gave him that contract. Good on Deshaun for getting the bag. But Russ, You saw Lamar was trying to get the fully guaranteed contract next. If you keep that ball going and you demand a fully guaranteed contract, Russ, they love you. Let's ride. Go Hawks. You're a team guy. You go to the children's hospital. You got your beautiful wife. No bad media. You've never said anything wrong. You always say the right thing to the point that people think you're fake. You rehab 19 hours, Russ. You did all this stuff to have the leverage to hold them over the barrel and say, give me full guaranteed. Walmart, I need that. And then what do? You take a team-friendly deal, and now you fuck over the rest of the quarterbacks. But that's probably what you want to do because you're not thinking about the quarterbacks. You're thinking about the Denver Broncos.
Is Russ greedy? I mean, what is bro? He's getting $165 million guaranteed. I mean,
Sean got 230.
He's already set. He was already set for life. But bro, the Wilson name will never fade, ever. And so,
it's not about that. It's about
you're upset that he didn't do it for the brethren and he did it more for the team because he's a team guy. And I totally get it. Now, here's the thing. Yes, will that be brought up when Lamar continues to negotiate his contract? Because he doesn't have an agent, obviously. Him and his mother are doing it, which I actually support it because those guys, you don't really need them.
That's a topic. That's the next topic. We're going to go hit that.
So my thing is this. This is the difference, though. First of all, Russell Wilson doesn't have an MVP. Yes, he's got a Super Bowl, but he doesn't have an MVP.
He doesn't.
He's also not 25. He's 33. And so I think that Lamar, he's got an 8-year difference on him. He had something he doesn't have. He's also for what it's worth, he's a hybrid. I mean, he is a running back too. He's a quarterback, but he's a running back as well. He
had less than 200 rushing yards last year. He ain't trying to run that thing no more.
Lamar?
Oh, no, I thought you said Russell. My bad.
No, Lamar. Yeah, I'm talking about Lamar.
Hey, we got a whole Lamar topic. Talk Russ.
Okay. But I'm just simply saying what he comes to okay, we'll wait on that. I like the deal all the way around. Obviously, Russell Wilson's my fantasy football quarterback as those that caught he fumbled.
Yeah.
As those that caught the Big Baby and Friends, or are we calling this Big Baby Parlay Pete? I know we were
Big Baby Parlay Pete, but the draft was the locker room fantasy draft. That's what
locker room fantasy draft. If any of you guys caught it, obviously Russell Wilson's my quarterback. So I was happy to see it because it's just now he's not thinking about it. There's nothing to go into the season with. He's just ready let's ride. He's ready to ball. And so I liked it from the standpoint of it was good for the team. They can they're gonna be able to, considering what other quarterbacks are gonna get here soon. I think that they're gonna be able to get things done there, and he's gonna have a successful season, even though I still have them coming in last. Doesn't mean that they can't make the playoffs. I just think they're going to be a 9-8 team. The division's just too tough, and I don't want to say that Patrick Mahomes is coming in last place because, like I said, I think we're both on board that it's going to be Raiders-Chargers at the top of the division.
Question for you about this stuff. If you're Denver Brass and he has 2 years left on his deal, you're not going to let him go into next season as a lame duck, as in the 2023-2024 season. Do you pay Russ before he plays the game for you?
9-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champion. You already traded. What did they give up? 2 first-round picks, or was it 3? Noah Fant, who was a pretty solid tight end.
Dang.
Drew Lock, you just kind of threw in so that they could get a quarterback back.
You pay him. You think you pay him.
Yeah, I think that it was the right move because the longer you waited,
more it's gonna cost.
More, yeah. So I think that they're happy that they got it done. New ownership too. They want to set the tone and show, hey, we take care of our guys. Arthur Blank, he's kind of fell victim to that too, because that's something that Arthur Blank does a lot of.
That Julio contract, the Julio to Matt contracts are.
He's a loyal person though. He is loyal. He's super duper loyal, and so I think that he wanted to get off on the right foot. And of course, the quarterback we know is going to get paid, but at the same time, Russ is a good face of a franchise to have, and I think it made all the sense in the world to lock him up early. And now you've got him until he's 40 years old.
Yeah. And, people talked about the age thing. I don't think age matters if you think
Not
you're
as much
going to.
anymore.
I don't think age matters if you're going to get value out of the contract, whether it's a young player or an older player. If they're going to hit the life of, if they're going to, prosper during the life of the contract, who cares? Like with Lamar, talk about should Lamar hire an agent? And I keep hearing, well, is Lamar the long-term solution? Is he going to play 15 years? Who cares? I'm only signing a 5-year deal.
Right.
It's not my problem. We'll worry about it 15 years from now. But today, let's get Lamar a 5-year deal. Do you think Lamar Jackson should hire an agent? Personally, I don't. Because when you are a high-end quarterback, you're giving money away because usually, and Lamar's getting treated differently because he doesn't have Drew Rosenhaus, Don Yee, CAA representing him. They're trying to hose him. Quarterbacks, the new quarterback who gets paid resets the market. And again, the Deshaun Watson contract kind of threw that off. Then even the Aaron Rodgers, really the quarterback market's getting weird, if we're being honest. It used to be next guy up gets the most guaranteed money, the most total money, most money per year. But now Kirk Cousins did his 3-year, which got weird. Then Aaron's doing these weird contracts because he's holding the Packers over the barrel like LeBron. And then you got Patrick Mahomes taking that stupid ass 10-year deal. Like, bro, who told you to? Like, what are you doing?
Well, but the thing with his deal was everybody looked at it. They saw a 10-year, $500 million, and then it really isn't 500. It's like he has to hit escalators that he possibly will hit. I don't know how many MVPs.
He's gonna renegotiate well before. He's gonna make more money over the life of that 10 years than what he signed for because the market's gonna jump to 60 million in 2 years.
Yeah,
being honest, and he's gonna be like, hey. Now Tyreek's gone. Kelsey's taking a couple steps back.
He will take a couple steps.
I'm saying in 2-3 years when he goes back to the table. Hey, I need that. So the market just got changed by some of these weird contracts.
And then by the way, Justin Herbert just signed a deal where he's getting more guaranteed. By the time it gets to that, Justin Herbert's deal is so much larger than mine. This motherfucker ain't won shit. He hadn't won shit. He doesn't even have an MVP. And, he hadn't thrown for 50 touchdowns yet. What's going on, guys?
So tell me why you think Lamar shouldn't hire an agent.
Because, similar to what you just kind of said, at the end of the day, market resets itself. What's the point of having an agent if they're just going to get a piece of it and that the deal is going to be this? We know that there's a lot of mumbo jumbo in it. And I'm sure that he has a financial advisor that still is reading over this stuff.
And a lawyer.
I'm sure that him and his mom are reading every page too. Hell, they're rich as fuck already anyways. They don't got much that they got to do. They can sit up and read every day and break down everything and have somebody sit there with them, pay them a quick, man, I'll give you $100,000 just to sit here and read it with me. Like if there's any language in it at all that just is more lawyer, legally, like that where they can explain it, it's pretty simple. Agent, they're sitting there the whole time. You don't even be there. They just come back to you. They're a middleman. You know what I mean? At that point, and I think that in his case too, with Lamar, he looks at it this way. He saw what Kirk Cousins did, and he knows that he's accomplished more than Kirk Cousins. And Kirk Cousins will never be franchise tagged again. And pretty much every single time that he wants a contract, he doesn't have to be the highest paid quarterback, but he knows that he will be just a couple million under per year because he's good enough. And so he's different though. He's a generational talent. He sells jerseys. He's
an MVP.
Next thing is he's going to be on the cover of Madden. Like, you know what I mean? Like he sells himself. And so he's got the respect of the league. He's got the respect of the locker room. And the Baltimore Ravens are people that handle business the right way. They're one of probably the best ran franchise in the NFL. And I know that Newsom just retired, but they are still.
Acosta was his right-hand man, and Newsom's still in the building. Obviously still in the building.
Yeah, right. He's probably still an advisor too. He's in the Jerry West role.
Yeah, Oh, hold on. Nah, we ain't doing that dumbass shit down there. No, what wrong with you? So
He still signs off on stuff.
I'm
He just
glad.
doesn't be there every day.
I'm glad we're on the same page with this. I think that certain narratives get pushed because of the people who push them and their loyalties, and I think the agent thing is one of them. Because don't get me wrong, if as a upstart media personality, would I hire an agent? Yes. But if I took off and became Barstool, if the locker room turned into Barstool, are we firing our agent after we signed that first deal? Like, yeah, bro, we don't need you no more. Like,
he'll get his pay, and we'll know going forward. Because first of all, you make sure that you're a part of the negotiation too, and that's probably something that Lamar did. Him and his mom are probably both there to where, well, hold on now, we need to know what's going on, and they saw how it goes. First of all, owners typically have great relationships with the quarterbacks, anyways. Michael Vick.
Jerry don't like negotiate with owners. He likes to negotiate with the player. That's probably because Jerry be Jerry, I give you this car.
Well, and think about with Jerry and Dak. With Dak's situation, because Dak did the same thing basically, and then he went out and got hurt. But Jerry did him right. Jerry said, Dak, we're going to give you the $40 million. We're going to give you the $40 million.
It's on my schedule.
I'm sorry to hear about your brother. And then, Dak was going through that, and Dak did everything the right way. Dak lost his mom to cancer, and Dak clearly is somebody that handles himself the correct way too.
He does.
And so does Lamar. Yeah, I know a lot of people got upset because Lamar's down there in South Beach running with them kids, but he's from there, man. He's trying to show them.
He said, "Hey, bro, I'm still Lamar. I'm still Lamar whose high school games I used to come to."
Exactly, and that's another part of why too I believe he's his own agent. Because if they don't give him what he wants, if Tua don't go down there and blow it up, I bet his ass signs.
I'm coming home. I'm coming home.
I bet the Ross family will have no problem saying, "Whoa!" They're looking at everything we got. They're like, okay, so he's got a cannon, and Tyreek's gonna be fast at least another 4 or 5 years. Yeah, let's get this guy in here. Hometown kid, man. Dolphins games will be crazy.
I think more high-end players should get away from the agents, because the agents, once you get there, I don't need you anymore. I'll get a lawyer. I'll have a manager to manage this stuff because I have those people anyways. But agency, once you get there, I don't need you. Now, to get me there, sure. If I'm getting drafted 3rd round, I need an agent to hold somebody else's contract over their head to get me my money.
Exactly. And so
the way Rich Paul do it, like, hey, if you want LeBron next year, you gotta sign KCP.
Yeah. And I think that Rich was a part of Collin's deal too, obviously, because he's his agent now.
Yeah. Rich, come on now. Yeah, come on now. We're talking about Rich Paul, the most powerful agent in the NBA.
At this point, because he's the
only by name agent.
He's the only non-player agent that basically might as well be a player.
And CAA, they're the big agency, but they don't have a big agent that people are talking about. It's the agency, not Rich Paul and Clutch. Because we know some other agents that work at Clutch, but they don't get in the game.
Exactly.
They ain't getting a newspaper. But Jimmy G ain't getting in the game this year either. He's staying in San Fran, but he also took a pay cut to stay in San Fran. Along with that pay cut came a no trade clause, which pretty much, I just think Don Yee, Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch just got in the room and said, "Hey man, Jimmy, we can ship you here. Here's what they're offering us. We don't really want that, but if you want to stay here and maybe your market opens up, or if Trey fucking up, or if he get hurt, you can slide back in, and then next year, the world is yours. Yeah. Maybe even if you come back to us, between the 4 people in this room, but I'm gonna need you to take a haircut." Now, we gave you that 5-year 125,
and you hadn't done anything yet
before you proved shit.
And you've been very serviceable. You've done a good job, actually.
We'll give you this no trade so that you know, if somebody offers us what we want, but you don't want to go there, we won't send you there. How about that? Jimmy goes, got yourself a goddamn deal.
Chappelle show. That is essentially how those negotiations probably went down. I have to imagine that it was set up to where Jimmy knew that he didn't really have anywhere to run. So why go through all this hassle to try and be on a team and not, get the chance to play, and then you're a free agent again. You probably got a house out there in Napa Valley. Yeah. He had to move while Trey Lance is still unproven at the end of the day. And like I said, Trey Lance is lucky that Jimmy came back, but Trey Lance got hurt last year too. So,
and he's going to be running the ball.
And he knows the offense already too. So that's another thing, playbook. And so I think that it's a win-win. I think that Jimmy obviously taking the haircut was the loss, if anything. But
Jed York probably gave it to him in cash.
If the Falcons win 6 games next year, for instance, and Marcus Mariota sucks and Desmond Ridder doesn't look like the guy, but we don't want to trade up, Jimmy G's a perfect candidate to come here. You know what I mean? 3-year, 60. 65. I mean, that's only 65. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Maybe we may have to go to 70.
Only because what's his face? Teddy Bridgewater got the 3-year 60 in Carolina, so I know that he's gonna be like, "Oh, yeah, I know you, nigga. I've been to 2 NFC championships in Super Bowl, and he's gonna tell me, he's like, hell, I didn't did what Matt Ryan did.
3-8. It's 3 years 80. It's 3 years 80.
Well,
he's gonna want more than 25 new media rights. Yeah, he's gonna want at least 80 to 85.
Yep, and maybe they can even do it incentive based. We win X amount of games, or we.
Oh, absolutely.
Go to the playoffs, stuff like that. Oh, I added like 2.5. Like,
and we front load it so that if we want to get off of him early,
we can.
Yeah.
Because we're only winning 8 games, 9. Or he's a winner though, low key. We go 10-7, but we get fucking blown out in the playoffs with the
Martellus Bennett said he was a bitch.
He said Jimmy G.
I didn't send that to you. My bad. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
He said Jimmy G was a bitch.
Oh, yeah, here it is right here. Absolutely. And Julian Edelman kind of like co-signed it. Here, I'll play it for you. On the McCourty's podcast.
We lost 2 games. One of them was because Jimmy Garoppolo was being a bitch and trying to quit. He quit before us on the last, decided not to play right before the game. So we went out there. Jacoby came out and played with a fucked up thumb and played his heart out. But Jimmy was just being a bitch about it all. And he's still being like, that's why you can't win with a bitch for a quarterback, first of all. So like, that was the whole thing with him. He didn't want to come out and like do anything because his agent was trying to protect his body or some shit like that, which I can't fault him for that. But like, nigga, you should have made that decision on Thursday, not on Sunday. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, so he not going out there. So Jacoby strap up, and we lost to the Buffalo Bills, which we shouldn't have lost. It was the last minute try to make adjustments for what Jacoby could do.
Yeah, then hold on. Julian Edelman responded.
In New England, y'all do a great job of keeping.
I hate Brandon Marshall's voice.
Distractions, but don't mean that y'all don't have them.
Oh yeah,
y'all have them. Y'all just do a great job of keeping it close, right? Yeah. Can you read this for me? Let me pass it to my guy.
What is this?
Just read it.
Going to jail. Here's the quote from Bennett. Bro, we lost 2 games. One of them was because Jimmy Garoppolo was being a bitch. He decided not to play right before the game. Jacoby Brissett came out and played with a fucked up thumb and played his heart out. But Jimmy was being a bitch about it all. Bennett said, That's why you can't win with a bitch for a quarterback, first of all. That was the thing with him. He didn't want to come out and do anything because his agent was trying to protect his body or some shit like that. Which I can't fault him for that, but like you should have made the decision on Thursday. Now it's Sunday. Quote from Martellus Bennett.
Said that about you?
No, Jimmy Garoppolo.
Oh, I'm about to say.
Week 3, like the first quarter against the Buffalo Bills or the Jets, and he hurts his non-throwing shoulder.
This was when Brady was suspended.
Jacoby came in, led us to a win. And the next week, but in the game, Jacoby.
Was that a big deal, like the non-throwing shoulder?
I mean, I don't know. We're all football players here. But Jacoby broke it. He tore his ligaments in his thumb in the win against the week 3 team. And so we go into week 4, and I guess Jimmy was practicing, and then decided not to play, and Jacoby played with no ligaments in his thumb, which you can't do that as a quarterback. You can't grip, and if it's your left, and a lot of guys got mad about it. A lot of guys got mad. I'm not gonna lie, I got mad about it. I sacrificed my body all day long. I was taking shots for this, numbing up that, ribs, broken ribs, shoulders, grade 3, hanging on by limbs just to play, and I can understand why Marty thinks like that.
Now, here's the thing too. Jimmy clearly was playing hurt in San Francisco a few times, and he's clearly just an injury-prone person.
But do you remember when he had the high ankle sprain year before last when they weren't good? When we beat them in San Fran.
Yeah.
There was some whispers coming out that the team was upset that he didn't come back earlier. And then he just shut it down. They're like, he should have pushed through. So I guess he's one who, like Anthony Davis. If it stings, I'm sitting.
Well, and
where are my sweats?
Well, Jimmy G's he's a pretty boy. So I don't want to call him a prima donna, but
I will.
I think they said Jimmy G was fucking porn stars or something like that.
He took one out on a date. I mean, I saw the pictures.
Oh, well, he smashed. Come on. He didn't go out to eat with her and then, hug her and say, all right, well, this was fun.
They said Kyle was pissed about that. Like, hey, bro, why are you in public with a porn star, bro?
Because he's Jimmy G. Oh, wow. If he had broken that tackle, that was a score.
Yeah, he was headed there. That West Virginia O-line is some shit.
Yeah, it is, because
Pitt got a mean pass rush.
ASAP. He had to get rid of that ball ASAP. All my bets are looking good for Thursday night.
Hey, you want to talk about another mediocre quarterback?
Yes.
Baker said he's going to fuck up the Browns.
He came out and said that he didn't say that, even though I think we all know he did say it.
Yeah.
And what it is he thought that it was an off-the-record conversation that wouldn't be brought up to the media, because we know that's exactly how he feels.
Yeah, and she's never going to get another quote from Baker. He's going to get a fuck you next time. Next time she says something to him, Baker's going to be like, fuck you.
Yeah. It's going to be a suck my dick type thing.
He won't say that no more.
Well,
he's not at Oklahoma.
He won't say it, but I'm just saying that's what the aura will give off, is a suck my dick type
thing. Once you slight Baker, he hates you forever.
Oh, he remembers.
Do you think Baker's going to fuck up the Browns?
They're favored now. I
don't think it's because
I think Jacoby Brissett's good enough to man the ship, honestly, for a little bit. I don't know what their record's going to be after 11 games, but considering Carolina is desperate and they, I don't think Matt Rule is a good coach to begin with. He's not a pro coach. How about that? I think he is a college guy. And kind
of like Jim.
Well, hold on now. Jim,
it's a joke. It's a joke.
I gotta say now, Jim was a winner. Now Chip, yes, Chip.
Josh's guy.
There's a couple other guys that are really they're just college guys, but
Nick. I think he could coach in the pros with.
I'm missing a guy though now. Well, now he could. I think because of the reputation he built in college, a lot of people would desire to play for him. Herb, college guy. You know what I mean? He's a college guy. Make your kicks, dipshit.
I'm a cop, and you will respect my authority.
Yeah, right.
Wouldn't Jim Harbaugh be perfect for Georgia Tech if Georgia Tech could get him?
Jim Harbaugh?
No, not Urban Meyer. Wouldn't Urban Meyer be perfect?
Nah, he couldn't coach those fucking nerds.
Man, I bet money Georgia Tech starts. I know Georgia Tech done let some dumbasses in there anyways. Because no offense, I love Glenn too. Glenn's another guy I know, but Glenn's a fucking dumbass, like low key. Like,
I mean, there are things about Glenn that I won't say on the podcast that I've heard.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, let me retort that. He's not a dumbass. He's a way that he doesn't have to be, and I don't know why. And so, like, because I like Glenn, but for instance, I'm just saying, I don't think that they got Glenn in, and so I think that Herb would be able
Jonathan Dwyer in too.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I think that Reggie Ball, bro, like
Calvin Johnson. I ain't saying they dumb.
Yeah,
but I'm just saying. I don't think they went to Tech for the academics.
They didn't.
Oh yeah, West Virginia about to score.
Great. Well, I already locked up. I took them plus 4.5 and -105 first half, so that's cash. But you want to know where I'm getting screwed?
Where are you getting screwed?
I took the over in the Penn State Purdue game.
I'm not even looking at it. I'm
it's
one screen.
3-0.
What else do you want to talk about?
The only thing not hitting right now on my parlay. Everything else looks great.
Hey man, let's why is Josh Gordon still getting work? Real quick, before we get to the 6-pack.
He knows something that we don't about the league. Well, either that or they are like in a weird way are using him as an industry plant that the NFL cares about drug addiction.
Okay.
I can't really because what has he done outside of leading the league and receiving almost 10 years ago? He's getting real close to 10 years now on that. Because wasn't it 2014?
Something like that, yeah. Yeah.
It's getting real fucking close to being 10 years removed from that. And so I don't know. I don't know if anyone thinks that he still has that in him. I think that he's a rehabilitation project. And look, the NFL has had success with
it. Yeah,
he
needs some rehab, all right.
Darren Waller used to be a drug addict.
Yeah, but he got healed quicker and was good at football.
It's great.
Josh Gordon had been good at football since he gave up the drugs.
Exactly. Well, did he ever give him up, though?
Ooh,
he kept getting fucking suspended. I mean, so.
Hey, did you see Gruden's little apology tour?
I did.
Did you listen to that Rome clip I sent you?
Huh?
Did you listen to that Rome clip I sent you?
I hadn't had time. I've been busy just because getting ready to get out.
Yeah. I just. Yo.
I did hear what Gruden said, and
I'm a good man. I've been married for 31 years. I go to church.
3 beautiful kids.
What the fuck? Yo, what's up?
He's like, I made a mistake, and just like everybody else has, and I just hope that everyone forgives me. Then basically, I want to be able to coach in football again. Like,
hey, and this podcast, we have been ones to say that we didn't think John deserved to get fired for the emails because of how they came out.
And that's why he's suing him.
And I think he deserved to get fired for what he did running that franchise. I mean, if you look at it, Alex Leatherwood gone after a year.
Abrams and Jacobs are the only 2 people on the team, and they're Bama boys themselves.
Abrams? No, he's a Mississippi State boy.
Yes, you know what? You're right. Abrams is SEC, but yeah, similar colors. But nonetheless, and their 5th-year options didn't get picked up.
Yeah. I mean, 2 first round. I mean, the first rounder from the year before gone. The corner gone. Ruggs gone. Cleveland Farrell gone.
Cleveland Farrell was the head scratcher because I remember when he got drafted. Everybody,
like Alex Leatherwood was a head scratcher.
Yeah.
Like first round, Alex Leatherwood. He's a tweener, and then he did draft Crosby and Hunter Renfrow, but I feel like Mayock did the back end of the draft, and Gruden took the first round. But Gruden should have been fired for his ineptitude as a football team manager, whether it's his coaching or whether it's his roster management. But I want to take a little bit of time to talk about this bullshit apology that he put out here, right? And yes, John Gruden, we've all made mistakes, but we're all not racist. Hey, John Gruden, we've all made mistakes, but we're not passing around fucking porn via email, our official email, with other people using their official email, John Gruden. Hey, John Gruden, we're not using homophobic slurs all willy-nilly and doubling down on those homophobic slurs, again, on a fucking work email.
Yep.
And then you want to come out and fake news ESPN. Don't get me wrong. You're absolutely right. They put out a bunch of bullshit, but you're not the one to say it because guess what? You used to be on ESPN putting out all of that same bullshit and getting paid millions and millions of dollars for it.
He was probably, before Romo's deal, was probably the highest paid guy.
And he was like the highest paid guy at ESPN. And now you want to come out here and tell us
Troy and Joe.
Huh?
Now it's Troy and Joe.
Absolutely. Hell yeah. You see, they ain't doing the car wash yet.
Bro, you haven't seen them at all.
No. They gonna show up on they show up on their own time. But look,
we're gonna see them in Seattle.
And lastly, John Gruden. I don't care if you've been married for 31 years, you're rich. I'm sure there are many reasons why your wife would stay around outside of her love for you and you being a great guy. Happens every day. John Gruden, I don't care if you have 2 kids. I know a bunch of terrible people who have reproduced and have multiple kids. I know some people with damn near 10 kids. They probably shouldn't have one. And I've been to church many times. And there are some fucked up, awful people in church. I mean, people who would tell me right now that you just said the F word on the podcast. God don't love that. You don't know what God loves. You telling me I can't use a man-made word because God don't like it? Did you talk to God and he tell you in your prayers that he don't like the word fuck?
Specifically about me?
Yeah, like he don't like when I say fuck. Did God tell you that? No. And then the church folks want to shame the junkie who come in there looking for God because they don't look right, they don't act right. And then they go buy a 6-pack right after. Well, you have an addiction too. You're just functioning. What's the difference? Or the fact that you church folks won't even leave the church to go out in the streets and talk to the people who need God and aren't coming to him for help. So miss me with I go to church, I got a wife and kids, I'm a good person. I've met some pieces of shit in the church with a wife and kids. Many of them have all 3. Who gives a fuck, John Gruden? Fuck off.
Well, John, are you sorry that you said it, or are you sorry you got caught? And that's what this stuff really comes down to. Certainly, he
should be sorry that he's sorry at running a football team.
What was the comment again? I know it was somebody's lips looking like fucking tires. Who was it that he was talking about?
I don't remember, but that was a joke. That wasn't even like a racist thing. You said like, nah, you made a joke. Like you cooked that one up.
Yeah.
That was like Buddy on Pat McAfee doing his Lou Holtz.
Right. And as I remember, crazy. That shit was crazy.
Hey, the haircut was wild too. Did you look at the visual
of
John Gruden in Toledo?
No, I didn't see.
Look it up real quick.
I heard it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's fat as fuck. His haircut looks worse than yeah. He's depressed.
I'm sure
he's going through it. He's not without football.
Somebody took a picture.
Chucky, man. But after you look that up, we're gonna close this out. We'll get to our 6-pack and we'll call it a show.
All right, hold on. I just really do want to see what this looks like.
You got to think about some 6-pack music too. Maybe we just crack open a beer or something like that.
Let me see. John Gruden Toledo video.
I was a little shocked and appalled that John Gruden to put on so many pounds. It's not the John Gruden I know.
Hold on.
They didn't think that we could make it. No.
I do not see it.
But I know God did. Yo, Jay-Z smoked that verse, didn't he?
He did. And I think, you want to know what? And I think it's a great verse, especially now, like Guru, there's like a ton of people coming out and, speaking their piece on it. And like, it's deeper than even maybe the surface of what everybody saw. Even Rap Genius couldn't get it. Like, you know what I mean? But like, no, he's been great. It was a great verse. But I think because we're so used to bullshit music that it was refreshing to just finally hear somebody actually give us something. And Hov just don't drop verses like that, right?
I think all 3 verses were a breath of fresh air that we as hip-hop fans needed because Ross did his thing. Wayne went crazy. I saw a clip from Rory and Maul's podcast that I don't listen to that said that Wayne and Ross should have been left off the song. I go, no. Jay rapping for 4 minutes doesn't sound as good if it's just Jay rapping for 4 minutes.
Right.
Like we want a real song, and then we want half a Hov's verse to be part of the song, and then we go, oh.
Right.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Hope did.
Yeah, I was gonna do a podcast Big Baby did, but I changed it to God did. Because Big Baby didn't do anything. You got your 6-pack ready, man?
I do. Let me hold on. I'm pulling it up, the last one, real quick, and then we can go ahead and get it cut up perfectly for the people.
Trying to think, where did I put the bets at? Is it on my laptop or is it on my desktop?
We're ready to go when you are.
All right, give me 1 second. I think it's on my desktop, so I'm just gonna end up writing it down. Yeah, it's on my desktop, and I don't feel like typing over that.
Yeah, I need some paper. Cindy, I need paper.
I hope she doesn't come in here asking me if I really need something, because I don't.
She's not coming here and whoop your ass. No, I'm kidding.
We're a tight ship over here. We do not believe in domestic violence in this house.
Oh, well, as you shouldn't. As you shouldn't.
All right, I'm ready for the first 6-pack of the year.
It is an honor and a pleasure to be back for another year of football, providing these 6-packs. And obviously, as always, I appreciate you, Lee, for giving me the platform to even be able to put this stuff out here. But
I appreciate you.
On that note, let's get into it, man. I'm really excited about this season. Football's here. I can already smell the brats, the fucking beer spilling.
Did you smell brat?
Yeah, well, bratwurst. How about that?
You said brat's the worst friend in the locker room?
No, I did not say that. I think you're putting words into my mouth. Come on, CNN, stop it. Nonetheless, let's kick this thing off.
Let's get it.
With what I believe to be maybe the biggest steal of the day. And the line has changed since the start of what it was 2 days ago. So I'll just go based on the lines today that I see.
Okay.
We're going to start with Cincinnati at Arkansas. They've got it at -7. Honestly, I have no qualm in taking the -7. I'm going to buy the half a point just in case it is a touchdown game, but easy peasy clear. And if you got a good enough bookie or a place where you can go ahead and take the 9.5, I'd even up it to that. I don't see how they don't beat them by double digits. So let's go ahead and let's roll with Arkansas -6.5. I'm buying the half a point just because I hate pushes. But I think that -7 is great, and I would take even over that. So fuck it, -7. Fuck it. They're going to beat them by more than a touchdown. -7 Arkansas. Give it to me.
Let's get it.
They're returning. Cincinnati, as we kind of spoke about earlier in the show, Cincinnati's lost a ton of talent off that team. Sauce Gardner, Kobe Bryant, Desmond Ridder, Alec Pierce. Enough said. Arkansas is returning a lot. They're a program that's clearly on the rise. They're in the SEC. Great team at home. Easy. Easiest bet of the week. Next, I've got Troy at Mississippi. I think that Jackson Dart and Lane are going to cook up something. Some believe that Jackson Dart might be more talented than Matt Corral, and clearly Matt Corral's NFL career looks like it's not going to last very long. But they got the spread at -21.5. We're going to buy the point and make it -20.5 just because, like I said, I don't like the idea of stuff not being even. I like, touchdown numbers as opposed to, well, they could win by 23 and it covers, but no, let's just do it by 21. So -20.5, Mississippi. They should bulldoze Troy. Next, we got Bowling Green at UCLA. Bowling Green might be the worst team in the MAC. There's not too much I really know about this UCLA team other than the idea that everybody's looking ahead to them going to the Big Ten, kind of on the coattail of USC. But Chip Kelly is still the coach there. And I remember last year when they played Hawaii in the first game, they beat the dog shit out of them, as we saw Vanderbilt beat the shit out of Hawaii 62-10. So I expect a similar result here. Bowling Green is really bad. They're like literally the worst team in the MAC. Give me UCLA -23. Next, we got Georgia State at South Carolina. The spread is 12.5. We're going to go with another favorite, the favorite in the game here on the spread too. Let me get South Carolina -12.5. I think that Spencer's going to be ready, locked and loaded. I like what Frank Beamer's got. I think that they've got a lot of momentum carrying from last year, and they got the tight end from Oklahoma too to follow Spencer. He was pretty damn good at Oklahoma last year. He didn't get benched like Spencer did, but at the same time, I really like the idea of them opening up against a Georgia State's not as much of a slappy as we want to believe they are, but they still are a slappy.
They're
and I
slappy.
know that last year that they had a really good chance of beating Auburn, but Auburn it wasn't Bo Nix, it was the other guy, and they just
Still there.
He might be the starter this year. Who knows?
He is. I don't know his name.
That coach is getting fired because the AD's leaving. And so he's done. He's already done. He's going to be a guy that's only been – there were rumors that he was going to get fired last year. But nonetheless, that's not South Carolina. I think that South Carolina is going to be the team in the East. Them and Tennessee are going to be the two teams in the East that pose any type of threat to Georgia. I think Georgia's comfortable. But at the same time, I really like this game to start off the season. So give me that minus 12.5. That's a super-duper favorable spread to start this off. Next, we're going to move it to Sunday night. We got Florida State at LSU. Florida State played last week against someone. I think it was Bethune-Cookman. They beat the shit out of them as expected. I think that they covered the spread too. But
Florida State? No, they played. They didn't play HBC, I don't think.
Okay. I know FAMU played UNC, but
UNC did not impress me, by the way, with FAMU and all the ineligible players.
No, they didn't.
Let's see. Who did they play last week?
It was a slappy for sure because the spread was like 44 or 40.
Stephen F. Austin?
Maybe. It might have been. But point being, we expected that. And even though they've already gotten a head start on everything and they've,
Duquesne.
Okay. Oh, even worse, a basketball school that isn't even really a basketball school. But they're no more for basketball because they're in the A-10. And so let me get LSU here at home. I think that Brian Kelly does get this thing started off the right way. The game's at the Superdome, build it up a little bit more, but Bourbon Street's going to be rocking. I'd like to think that the Canal is going to be rocking. I think that everything is
you said that game is Sunday?
Yeah, it's a Sunday game.
Oh, I touched down in New Orleans on Sunday. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. That's going to be fun. But give me LSU. I like
What's
LSU. Brian Kelly can do more with that talent than Ed Orgeron did. Even though they might not be where they want to be yet, I just don't foresee – Florida State isn't back. So this is the type of game where they would get a marquee win, and it's just not going to happen. Not on the road in a de facto road game.
Yeah.
Give me LSU money line. And then finally, I was teetering between two of them, but there's one I just like a little bit more than the other. Clemson at Georgia Tech. This is going to be a first half bet. I like Clemson minus 12.5 first half against Georgia Tech. I think that Georgia Tech is going to have to get rid of Jeff Collins here soon. And it's not at his fault. I think it's because he took over a program that ultimately was running the option for almost a decade. And to make that type of transition to try and run a pro-style offense and get your guys in, he's in like year 4 or year 5. I just think that the reality is that there hasn't been enough results. They just lost their top running back to Alabama. He's a star. Jameer Gibbs is a star at Alabama now. It doesn't look good. The optics don't look good. And at the end of the day, your school is still in Midtown in Atlanta. And this is a very appealing place to sell to a college kid, I think.
Yeah, I've been in Magic City before.
Me too. I might take a gander down it. No, I'm not.
Yeah, man. Well, Parlay Pete, that's your first 6-pack. So we're taking Arkansas minus 7.
Mm-hmm.
We're taking Ole Miss minus 20.5.
Mm-hmm.
We're taking UCLA minus 23.
Mm-hmm.
We're taking South Carolina Gamecocks, the Cock Warriors, the cockamamie bullshit.
The Commanders.
Commanders. There we go.
Oh, they were supposed to be the Cock Commanders.
Bro, would have loved it. Minus 12.5.
Yeah.
Paul, do you think they call us the Cock Commanders because we command so much cock around here?
Or we just get so much cock?
LSU money line, and then Clemson minus 12.5 first half versus Georgia Tech.
Yes, sir. That sounds great to me.
Hey, man, Parlay Pete, it's been an absolute pleasure. Stay on the line real quick. But it's been a great show, and look forward to next week talking NFL. We get 2 6-packs next week, man. We're going to get the viewers drunk.
We're going to get them drunk, and, we're going to be throwing beers at them like they're Stone Cold Steve Austin on the top rope.
And hopefully they get paid, baby. Let's get it.
That's what I'm talking about.